Hi and welcome back to our series on checkpoint R82 threat prevention. In our last video we covered the core software blades that make up checkpoint's multi-layer defense. We learned what each blade does, from IPS to threat emulation. Now that you know what the tools are, the next big question is, how do you want to manage them? So R82 gives you two distinct and powerful management models. First, custom threat prevention, and second, the autonomous threat prevention. So choosing between them is one of the first major decisions you will make, and it will shape your entire security workflow. So in this video, we will break down both approaches, compare their strengths, and help you decide which one is the perfect fit for your network. So let's get started. So let's start with the traditional and most flexible method, the custom threat prevention. As the name implies, this approach gives you complete granular control over your security policy. So think of it like a professional toolbox. You have every tool at your disposal, and you decide exactly which one to use, where and when. So here we can see our Smart Console. Here under Threat Prevention Custom Policy, you see we have only one rule here. What is important here is this. What is this? So the action. Here we can see that all blades are enabled. So IPS, anti-bot, antivirus, threat emulation, extraction, and zero phishing. We have profiles. This optimized, and if you look here under profiles, we have 3 default profiles and you can create your own. So we will get back to this, but for now we know that here we are creating our policy, the custom threat prevention. So let's head back to our here. So let's go to the next slide here. So with custom policy, you build the rule base. You create rules that define what traffic gets inspected. For example, you can have one rule for traffic going to your data center servers and a complete different rule for guest Wi-Fi traffic. The core of a custom policy is that threat prevention profile. These profiles, which we'll cover in depth, as we said, are where you fine-tune your security. You decide that the activation settings, whether a threat should be prevented or just detected based on its severity, the confidence level of the detection, and its performance impact on your gateway. So, and the optimized, the profile that we saw, the optimized profile, you can see that for IPS protections, we can set different actions based on confidence, severity, and performance impact. So who is custom threat prevention for? It is ideal for organizations with complex networks that require very specific rules for different segments. If you have a team of experienced checkpoint administrators who need to fine-tune every aspect of the policy and create granular exceptions, the custom path gives you the ultimate power. So what are the pros of custom approach? First, maximum flexibility. You can create highly specific rules and exceptions for different parts of your network. Second, granular control. You have the power to tune every single protection and profile to perfectly match your organization's risk appetite. And third, it is ideal for complex hybrid environments where different segments of the network have vastly different security needs. But there are some trade-offs. It requires more expertise and time. You are the architect, which means you need to understand the implications of your decisions. there is higher potential for misconfiguration. With great power comes great responsibility. And a poorly configured rule could leave a security gap. And maintenance can be more involved, especially as your network and threat landscape evolve. So let's take a look at here. We can see the autonomous policy. So here we have the policy. We have many things. We will talk about these later. But as you can see, all blades are enabled. We have many functions here. We can choose a protection profile. So now let's take a look at new, more streamlined approach, the autonomous threat prevention. So let's look at the autonomous threat prevention. This is Checkpoint's answer to a common challenge. How do you get the best possible security without spending all day managing complex rule bases? The philosophy here is simplicity and continuous protection. If custom threat prevention is a manual toolbox, autonomous is like a smart self-driving security system. Instead of building the policy rule by rule, you simply tell Checkpoint the role of your gateway, the best policy for you. So let's head back. So here, if we click here, you can see we have many different profiles: perimeter, internal network, monitor, strict security, guest, and data center. The system comes with let's head back to our. The system comes with a set of predefined profiles, as we saw, based on best practices for common gateway roles. You just select the one that fits. For example, is this gateway protecting your internal perimeter? Choose the recommended for perimeter profile. It gives you optimized protection for web browsing, email, and FTP. Need even higher security? There is a strict version. Is it protecting your internal service? Select cloud, data center, or internal network profile. Is it for a Wi-Fi network? The guest network profile is designed to monitor traffic non-intrusively. The monitor profile, on the other hand, enables all the technologies, but only in detect mode. So you can see what would be blocked without impacting traffic. Once you select a profile, Checkpoint automatically creates and maintains the underlying security policy. It ensures you are always protected with the best prevention technologies and best practices from Checkpoint research with zero manual intervention. So now, autonomous doesn't mean you have no control. Checkpoint provides simple and powerful ways to customize the policy to fit your needs. From the main dashboard, you can easily manage exceptions if you need to allow a specific type of traffic that the policy is blocking. You can add a global exception. So here we can see exceptions. So here you can add any, for example, network or subnet that you don't need to inspect and make an exception. So here under exceptions. And we have the deployment dashboard. So let's head back there. Here. Let's see. This is our deployment. If you click here, you can see here that we have no protection, detect only, and according to a policy or to a profile. So if you have, for example, let's click this plus here. If we want this, the 10.10.12 network not to be inspected. So we add it here, no protection, so no inspection. If you want, for example, to only monitor this network, so detect everything but not block anything, so you can add that here. And everything here, so you can see all other, so everything is here. You can add exceptions here. So no protection, So nothing will be done on this network, and detect only. It will detect everything, so monitor everything, but no action, just logs, only logs. Here we are protecting everything according to the profile, which is perimeter for this in this example. So under deployment dashboard here, it's very important to understand what we are doing here, because anything you add to no protection will not be protected. So no IPS, no antivirus, no antibot, nothing. So it's very dangerous, risky, this one. So as we said, the deployment dashboard allows you to gradually roll out the policy. You can play a specific network, as we did, in a detect-only mode for a trial period before moving them into full protection. And under settings, you can override the defaults. For example, you can adjust how sanitized files are handled or enable specific DNS protections that might be off by default in your chosen profile. So here, you can see on the settings here, we have some settings, sanitized files. So you can change some settings here. So let's jump to the next one. So side-by-side comparison here. Make a choice. So as we can see here, so here we have the custom threat and autonomous threat. So management, manual, rule by rule. So it takes time and need expertise. Here, profile-based, automated. Control is granular per rule. Here it's not granular, it's high level with overrides. Expertise requires deep knowledge. So you need to have deep knowledge in how to configure. And here, beginner-friendly best practice. Updates manually reviewed, applied, automatic and continuous. Best for complex, unique environments. So best for complex and very strict environments. Here, standard deployments, lean teams. So which one should you choose? So let's summarize. Choose custom threat prevention if you have a highly segmented network with different security needs for each segment. You need to create complex multi-layered rules and exceptions that a profile can't cover. Or you have an experienced security team that wants to control every detail of the policy. And you can choose autonomous threat prevention if you want to deploy checkpoints recommended best practices with a single click. You have a lean IT team and want to reduce management overhead. You want to ensure your protections are always up to date without constant manual intervention. Your gateway roles fit neatly into the predefined profiles like perimeter, data center or internal. It's also important to note you can also only install one type of policy per gateway. So we cannot use custom and autonomous. You should choose one of them. You can't mix and match. However, you can have different policy packages for different gateways. So your main perimeter cluster could run an autonomous policy, while a specific internal dev cluster, for example, could run a custom policy. So choosing between custom and autonomous is a strategic decision that will shape how you manage your security for years to come. There is no single right answer, only a right answer for your environment. So starting with our next video, we are going to begin our deep dive into custom threat prevention path. We will walk through enabling the blades, understanding the default policy, and building your very first custom rule. If this comparison was helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our first practical walkthrough. Which path are you choosing for your network and why? So let me know in the comments below. So thank you for watching, and I see you in the next video.